I found this interesting. This is I read a way for you to preserve your brain and keep it young. You know how we play Wordle every day?
Yeah.
Did you do it today?
I did.
What'd you do?
4.
3.
Good for you.
Thank you.
BB Shea doesn't know that pumping you up like that is the worst thing you could do.
3. I got it in 3. Pretty good get, too. My opening word only netted me 1 letter, so I had to really think that one through. Got her in 3. That second word choice was a biggie today. I went with something a little different. Anyhow, I'm going to sit here and go inside Wordle.
Save that for the podcast.
I could.
Let's put that behind the paywall.
I could go inside Wordle. Yes, we do have a paywall now, and I'm getting more and more people saying, how do I unsubscribe?
Get me out of here.
I don't know who developed this, but we did it in a really good way because you can get into that pretty easily. But like all the greats, you can't get out. No. We jailed you in that thing. No. You're going to pay us $3.29 a month. That's the thing. I've gotten several people now saying, I really thought I'd use this more than I do. Yeah. How about getting me out?
There's just no substance here.
There's no button to push to get out of it easily. Yeah. If you want to go, hey, go to twoguysnamechris.com, check it out, see what you think.
Yeah.
We should give
be careful if you sign up.
Right. We should probably give like a free 3-day preview or something like that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Like channels do, like TV stations do, where you can go in and get a streaming platform for a week, and then you can sign up, and then it starts charging. Anyway, I read that to keep your brain young, I used to do all these little games before there was Wordle too. I would go on and I downloaded these little games you could play. My wife said it would keep my brain young, try to avoid dementia.
What was that one app that you got?
That was the one. I can't remember the name of it now. See how it works?
Yep.
See how well it does? Yeah. Had these little games that I would play every day. And Chris Demm said, you give that up within 90 days. That'll be it. And I did. Within a month, I was just like, okay, I'm tired of this. But it would be little they would get harder and harder to try to keep you. And you'd spend 15 minutes a day on it trying to keep your brain fresh. I just read psychologists say the one thing you can do, the best thing you can do to try and really refresh your brain and keep it young and motivated is learn a second language. Try to learn Spanish, French, whatever it might be, Italian. And I have to say that when I was in school, that was the hardest. I think that was the hardest course I took was Spanish. I never could get it. I wasn't good at that at all. And my kids, one of them does pretty well, and one does. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Which one?
Today, listen to this. Later, there's in one of the Demm reports story, or it's not even in a Demm report. It's a story about a guy who was driving his Tesla, and it froze up on him. And I guess this is a problem with these cars that are so technologically advanced. At least this one. I mean, everything froze. The air conditioning was set in one place. He was going 83 miles an hour, and he could not get it to stop going 83 miles per hour. And so, of course, that's, crazy. What do you do? He was out on the freeway in Los Angeles. And so it said in the headline, this is how my brain works. It said in the headline, Tesla freezes while on the highway. And I thought, man, it's pretty warm. I thought.
Is there a blizzard we didn't know about?
I really thought that something in the Tesla, like the air conditioner or something, just froze the car, like while he was driving.
Into a block of ice?
Yes. I thought, my God, they'll never sell another Tesla. You know how one of them caught on fire and it was so hot they couldn't
put the battery out.
The battery kept burning. They could not, no matter how much water they put on it, they couldn't put it out. But this thing, the headline said, Tesla freezes at 83 miles an hour. And I thought, my God, this poor man, I was so worried about him. I really was. But it wasn't that. And that's coming up later here.
So can I ask you, Kelly, going back a half step here about learning a language?
Yes.
As an adult, what's the best way to do that now? I think still in person is probably the best. I mean, you can probably, I'm sure there's a million ways to learn on YouTube.
Yeah.
But not everybody learns the same way.
And there's that course you take. That's what is it called where you can learn a second?
Babbel?
I never Babbel.
Yes.
Babbel. Right.
I've heard it's okay for vocabulary, but you don't really. It's not as conversational as some.
When I took Spanish in school, did you take foreign language?
Yeah, I took 6 years of it.
Me too.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. Yeah, took Spanish. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Me llamo
Hey, muy bien, ¿y tú?
Sí.
Gracias.
Gracias. That's about what 6 years get you.
Yeah.
I had trouble with it. You
don't ever throw it up around in a Mexican restaurant, do you?
When I was in it, yeah, I did a few times, and I just embarrassed myself.
I love
Hola, amigo.
I love to do that. I say, más agua, por favor. And then they'll come up, if you say that, más agua, un poquito agua, por favor, they'll come over and start speaking to you like you do know.
Yeah.
And you're like, you really don't.
I'm maxed out.
Yeah.
Exactly. Once you say that one little thing, that makes you look like a smacked ass.
I used to work in a hospital, and I used to do it there a few times, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So can you carry on a conversation?
It very slowly. If I tell them, like, hey, I'm very basic, then they'll, roll with me.
That's all right.
Okay. Well, what was the question?
How learn language?
How learn language? How learn language? When I took it, see if your teachers your professor did it the same way. She came in. We didn't speak a word of Spanish, and yet she almost like 95% of the time spoke Spanish. I mean, you immerse yourself in. I mean, really, the best way to learn it is if you want to learn Spanish, go to Spain or Mexico and live there for a year. But of course, you can't do that.
Yeah,
that's how they say you really learn the language. I have a dear friend who lives in Italy now. I haven't seen him in 31 years. Okay, 31 years I've seen him. He moved to Italy for a job, and he
never came back.
Never came back, and now he speaks such fluent Italian. And he never took a course in Italian or anything. He just moved to Italy. He lives in Milan, and he now dreams in Italian. I mean, he is so immersed in Italian. It's all Italian. I think he would consider English his second language. Because he spoke English from here, of course, until he was 18 or 20. Then he moved over there, and now he's basically Italian, I would say. Anyway, I think it is to be in person in a classroom, even still, and speaking it as much as you possibly can. I'd say even over YouTube or whatever it might be.
What's the toughest language you think to learn? An Asian based, if you're like us,
probably
Caucasian?
Mandarin. Like
something with like a huge alphabet.
What do you think? I mean, because Chinese, at least like with Spanish, the alphabet.
The alphabet's exactly. It's not the same with a lot of Asian languages, of course, and Russian. They use a different alphabet too.
Yeah, I mean, you look at those letters and you're just like, well, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
I can't even tell. I get some emails from Russia or China, and I look at it and like, I don't even know.
I want to click, but I think I told you.
I just always click. Why not?
I think I told you that the youngest brother, the youngest Demm boy, Charles, he's on his never-ending quest for knowledge. He taught himself how to read Hebrew and Greek so he could read some of these religious texts in the original languages.
Unbelievable. I mean,
I had an uncle who taught himself Irish.
Unbelievable. I mean, people that do that kind of thing is just incredible to me. And even with Spanish, I wish I could go back and do it now because I think it's important and I would have paid a lot more attention.
I think what you're saying is probably, it's like, I wish I'd stuck with playing the piano. Or I learned another language earlier. That's got to be some of the bigger regrets.
Absolutely.
Along with taking care of myself.
All of those things. If I had learned, I mean, because I took Spanish and I knew I was going to have to take it for at least 2-4 years. I wound up taking it 6. But I never had the proper building blocks. I thought it was just like memorize words. It's all about verb tenses and that kind of thing, and that's when it really throws you.
Well, I guess that's probably how they still teach it, because when we did French early, they would say it's all these verb tenses, but it's not conversational. It's just memorizing. It's just you memorize the pronouns, you memorize this, but it's not. It doesn't. There's no flow.
We had to try to figure out how to say like past tense and future tense.
Sure, exactly.
All those things that's hard.
And I wonder if that's too early in the curriculum.
I don't know.
Teaching a language.
I think a lot of people take a lot of Spanish, especially, and then don't know Spanish. Just like me, I can say count to 10, and that's about it, or say what we were saying earlier. But to really, if someone started speaking Spanish to me, I'd be completely lost. And I had 6 years of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a better way to teach it.
You pick out a word or two here and there.
Here and there, yeah, those things. But I wish that I had really tried to ace that course, because it feels like over 6 years then you would be able to, and then stuck with it. Because Spanish, I think, living here is, valuable. It's a valuable thing to have. If you have a second language, that's a big deal.
But how often are you granted the opportunity to speak it, though?
But I think it would open up, very rarely, except in Mexican restaurants, but I think it would open up. I could do a Spanish podcast.
That's a good point.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Or hear what people are saying about you. I really think that's one of the bigger benefits.
You could do it. Opens up a lot. If if you were bilingual, especially Spanish, if you wanted to work anywhere, you could probably say, well, I'm bilingual, and it would help, don't you? For most places, if you work in a hospital, like you just said, and you can speak both languages,
or law enforcement,
oh my God, huge advantage, I think. One more quickie here today. This is kind of about getting through life as well. I saw a hack on TikTok last night.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, I don't know if it's real or it's not real, if it really works. But when the guy did it, I thought, that's pretty smart. He takes a frozen pizza, and we do frozen pizza in our house. Okay, we are a frozen pizza family.
Brands vary.
Yeah, I like Paul Newman. I love the Paul Newman pizzas, but I can't always find those. And then my son really got into those Food Lion Mexican pizzas. This goes back to us being bilingual and wanting to experience the culture.
Mexicano.
Yeah. But the guy took the frozen pizza and he takes it and half of it, this is still in the packaging, takes half of it and it's off the counter, off of his kitchen counter, and he just smacks it so it breaks in half. And then he turns it sideways and smacks it again. So now you've got it in 4 pieces. He's like, boom, now you don't have to slice it when it comes out of the oven. You don't have to dirty up your cutting board or your pizza roller.
I thought didn't Weather Dave say that pizzas are supposed to cook intact?
He did. And he says that, in fact, a lot of people...
Unless you're microwaving it.
Well, some people say, too, when they order a pizza from Domino's or Papa John's now, they don't slice it because they want it. It's more congealed. It just tastes
better.
Sets better. This is the guy.
Next time you're cooking a frozen pizza, put it on the edge of the counter halfway, hit it. Other way, halfway, hit it. That way, when you get it out of the oven, it's already pre-cut. You don't have to worry about pizza slicers or any of that good stuff. Everything's pre-cut, ready to go.
When I saw it, I thought, yeah, that's what I should.
Although, Chad, every house has a knife that does nothing but cut pizza.
We do. We have
that wheel.
We have the wheel. We do have it, but it does dirty. I always dirty up a cutting board. Well,
oh no.
My wife tells me not to do that. Stop dirtying cutting boards. So sometimes I try to fit it back on the little cardboard piece it came on.
But then you go right through, and then you scratch the counter.
Yeah, then you scratch the counters. There's always trouble.
You don't want to do that.
I know. White Bread's talking about learning a second language. White Bread, go ahead.
Buenos días, mi amigos.
Sí, buenos días, sí.
So I started trying to learn Spanish last year because I had some new neighbors living in the house that our mutual friend Dan used to live in. Mm-hmm. And the hardest thing about learning a new language is when I try to speak to them how I would speak to you.
Right.
Saying things like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
What's up? You don't really necessarily learn that in the early stages of learning a new language. And
that's hard. The slang of it. Yeah, just
just the everyday ins and outs.
Yeah, he got cut off, but that's right. The little things.
Yeah, I mean, you do have to know verbs and you have to know verb tenses eventually, because that's how.
Yeah.
If someone's speaking English to you and uses the wrong verb tense, it really stands out.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely right. And I'll tell you 2 things. The 2 things I remember from my Spanish teachers telling me the most. One, my first year Spanish teachers told me that in Spanish, to be, what's the word? When you say something, God, now I'm going to forget it. I'm really losing it. I'm totally losing it.
This is the segment that's focused on keeping your mind right.
Your mind right, and I can't keep it right. Sarcasm. I told you this once. If you're going to use sarcasm, they don't use it in Spanish. So that's what she said. So, like, if I were going to say...
nice shirt.
Exactly. That would literally mean to them, nice shirt. They don't catch the inflection.
Even the tone?
That's what she said, which is hard for me to believe. I mean, but she says...
That's an older civilization
She
than
says
ours.
they just don't use it. That was her. Now, this was 9th grade, and she said they don't use sarcasm. So if you say something, it's taken for what you say. Is what she said. And then secondly, another Spanish teacher of mine said that English is a very, very difficult language to learn because of what White Bread was just saying. We have so many different slangs.
Yeah, and it's based on so many other languages.
Exactly. I mean, you say, what's up? And it's like,
what do you mean, what do
you mean, what is up? It's like que pasa for them is what's happening. It's like, what's going on with you, que pasa. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. And I would think, because we have so many little phrases too, that, 6 of one, half dozen the other, and stuff like that. Little things that we say that we all just know, and it's hard for them to learn that, of course, because it's a new language to them and everything.
And just another half step back.
Yeah.
To me, your pizza TikTok guy sounds like you. Both too old to be on TikTok. And that's all I have to say about that.